Puerto Gaitán is located in the department of Meta, in the eastern plains of Colombia. One of the municipalities with the largest number of hectares cultivated with products such as corn, soybeans, rice, and bananas, among others. One of the most productive farms in the country is located there, and has been recognized for its results in production, crops, genetics, and education, among other factors. At the beginning of this project, and despite the difficulties, it was the long-term vision that allowed a small group of entrepreneurs to work and take advantage of these lands to the maximum, to grow corn and soybeans on a large scale to feed the pigs that are produced there. Agricultural production at the Fazenda. We are located in the municipality of Puerto Lopez here in the Finca La Fazenda, in the department of Meta. Our farms or our productive nuclei are also located in the two municipalities of Puerto Lopez and Puerto Gaitán. This region has very important characteristics, which give us a productive potential for corn and soybean crops. We were located in the Colombian Alta Llanura, is an area that we have about 4 million hectares to exploit, with very important conditions, to be able to do intensive agriculture, mechanized, without having to affect the environment. They are native savannas. We are located at an altitude of 200 meters above sea level, with a rainfall regime of over 2,500 millimeters, which allows us to make 2 crop cycles in a year. If we are in an area very close to the center of the country, which geographically can make us very, very competitive for all our agricultural development. The Alta Llanura today is one of the agricultural pantries not only of Colombia but of the world. As I was saying, we have around 4 million hectares suitable for extensive crops and in technology crops that we can mechanize. Today it is a window that we have to produce food, not only for Colombia but for the whole world. Then today we are already positioned. There are other companies that have been entering the sector. We have other projects that have been establishing in this area, projects that are also involving the issue of corn and soybean for the manufacture of balanced feed. The objective of the agriculture department is to produce corn and soybean grains. Corn and soybean are the fundamental basis for the manufacture of balanced feed. Within the company, our responsibility is to generate all the raw materials, corn and soybean in this case, to make the balanced feed or concentrates that will be the feed or diet for the swine production that we have. When we talk about agriculture, we are looking for quality and price of grains that are competitive. The price of grains are those that are part of the cost of concentrated feed. And today we can say that they are reaching practically 80% of the cost of a kilo on foot. That is why it is so important to achieve productivity and costs, but this is an endurance race. One cannot pretend from the first day to seek the competitiveness of countries that have been around for over 70 years and that have all the technologies. But we cannot not advance either. Thanks to the geographical characteristics of the region, the work done over the years, and the possibility of expanding the cultivable areas, it is one of the most promising areas for Colombian agriculture. The agricultural project began with the need to produce grains for the manufacture of balanced food. If looking for areas in the country that were with a productive potential, we found this area of the Alta Llanura that has conditions very similar to the Brazilian Cerrado, totally flat soils with a physical structure that allows us to produce balanced food. soils with a physical structure that allows us to mechanize. Soils that drain very well, yes, that do not waterlog, they are soils with a very good agricultural potential, with some difficulties that are poor soils, soils with high pH, with high contents of aluminum, iron, but they are soils that can be improved and that allow us to have a competitive agriculture. As I was saying, we are in an area where the soils have some very important advantages. We are here looking at a profile of a farm that has been cultivated for 14 years, where we see some very big differences with respect to the original soil of this area. As I was saying, here we originally have soils with very low pH, with very high aluminum and iron contents. Soils with a light yellow color, where we do not have a defined organic profile. But after 14 years of work we have managed to generate a slightly darker layer where the organic matter contents go from 0.8 to 2.5% of organic matter, where we see how easy it is for the roots to infiltrate. We make an initial correction with applications of lime and gypsum and phosphorus in the first 25 centimeters. But the natural work of the soil has been regenerating and has been forming a deeper profile where we managed to have roots already at a depth of more than 60 centimeters. It is important to highlight this slightly. Darker layer, where we have a higher content of matter, organic matter, where we have a very important biotic system, where a series of microorganisms interact and help us to improve all the conditions of infiltration and fertility of the soil. The idea is to turn this horizon, these 60 centimeters, into a sponge that infiltrates water, that retains water for the moments when it is needed, where the plant can go down and explore the whole profile and can obtain the nutrients it needs for its normal development. All this has been a learning development process. Yes, we have been generating technologies that allow us to have very important yields in soybeans and corn. In soybeans we have yields of around 3 tons per hectare, and in corn of 7 to 5 tons per hectare. One of the difficulties we have had is from the beginning we have had a lack of genetics. Yes, we do not have corn and soybean genetics adapted to these environmental conditions. We plant seeds or varieties and hybrids developed for other specific zones, not totally developed for the tropics. This has made development a little difficult for us. The whole issue of soils has also been to generate a technology that was not developed for this zone. It is to generate this soil technology, production, to generate varieties that adapt to these conditions. All this has been carried out step by step, and today we already have very good results. We have some very great advantages with respect to our climate, to our planting possibilities. They have others, and we can prove it because, for example, corn is a natural product of Mesoamerica, that is to say, between Mexico and Peru, where it is most developed in the climates of the region. Where it is most developed in temperate climates, and today the countries with the highest productivity are in the corn belts in the United States, in the humid pampas of Argentina, in the Ukraine, while soybean, which is a product of the temperate climate originating in China, the highest productivity today is in the tropics, in Brazil. The first thing we have to do is to understand and manage the soils, as well as the climate. We have to look for and use genetics with high production potential, but which are adaptable to the area, and have resistance to the main enemies, both pests and fungi, such as waterworms, such as nematodes, Additionally, we have to control the operations, and we have to update technologies and work a lot in research and development. One of the factors that has helped the great performance of these crops is research, as it has played a key role in agricultural development to raise the production of agriculture to feed the pigs that produce there, and to improve food security for a rapidly growing population. Research is the most important thing, is the methodology that will give us the tools or the way forward in the future. All the new practices that are involved in large extensions have to go through the research area and be validated by the entire technical team. When you have, or this research comes out of here, it goes to the field and is replicated because we are already confident that we will have very good results. Then the main thing is to generate this technology, generate new technologies here in the research field, and then extrapolate it to the other commercial lots of the company. Also in this research area we are testing new corn and soybean materials. We have a script of 16 corn hybrids, which we are evaluating. In them we are going to evaluate their productive layer, their yields, the sanitary part and the quality of the grain they generate. Corn is 65% of the diet, for the manufacture of the concentrates. We currently have corn hybrids that we are planting. They are hybrids that come from abroad. We buy the seed. We import it directly from the multinationals. Corn provides us with the carbohydrates that we need for our food diet. Today we have corn with very good technology, corn that already has the BT events, and the RR event, which are the ones we are cultivating. They are corn that represent a very good development and that would have a very important productive potential. In the future, corn is going to increase the areas. We in Alliance are practically going to grow in corn and soybean area. They are for the future. Corn is the grain that is going to allow us to feed our pigs. We found here a soybean crop. This is the Raimunda variety. It is a soybean that has been developed by the Brazilian research company Embrapa. We have an agreement with Embrapa and we can see the characteristics. We have a plant that emits many segments. Yes, and in each segment there are all the floral structures. We can see the large number of pods that they have, which will produce soybeans. They are plants that have a very important development, a soybean that today has 74 days after planting and is already in reproductive state. It is a soybean with very good potential, yield. We expect that we will be above 3.3 tons per hectare. It is also important to highlight in this soybean the root system, if we can make an observation. Here we will find a large number of nodules that are bacteria, nitrogen-fixing bacteria of the genus Rhizobium or Bradyrhizobium, which fix atmospheric nitrogen, and make it available to the plant. A plant with very good potential is a soybean that has adapted very well to the conditions of the Alta Llanura. In general, soybeans in this area have a period or a cycle of between 110 and 120 days. The earliest soybeans are 100, 110, 120, 125. Soybeans are a little later but generally have a little more yield. This is a lot that is in an excellent reproductive, sanitary and pest control. Soybean cultivation is very important because in addition to improving the soil, because in addition to fixing atmospheric nitrogen and making it available for the plants, it also provides us with all the protein that we will need for the manufacture of food concentrates. With an added value that we have is that through the oil extraction plant we can also extract the oil, and we will obtain two important products: soybean oil for commercialization, and soybean cake, which will be the basis for the manufacture of food concentrates. Another fundamental factor that leads them to be successful in their processes is technification. Applying technology to agriculture and to their production system allows them to make production compatible with the environment, obtaining better results in terms of productivity, traceability, and sustainability. Nowadays, we have to be more efficient in all activities. Earlier has state-of-the-art agricultural machinery. We have planters that do soil mapping. We have planters that do mapping, and we place variable rate in water in fertilizers, variable rate in seeds. These are state-of-the-art machines that we must implement in the agricultural system. They are much more efficient machines that provide us with a more important quality of work in everything. In each of the processes, from sowing, from spraying, from tilling, until we reach the harvest, which is the most important work of the process. The harvest is one of the most important points, and the completion of the entire agricultural process is the moment in which we collect the product produced. It is very important because we do it through the latest technology machinery. Machines that have satellite systems, have autopilot, are more machines that do soil mapping, where we can see the yield of the crop. It is a very important task. And the completion of the entire agricultural process, which collect our grains to deliver them to the plant. Today we have here, at this moment, we are harvesting corn. We have a lot of approximately 635 hectares. In the Los Mangos farm, in Nucleus 2, this corn is already over 120 days old. It is approximately 21% humidity. We should be harvesting it between 20 to bring it to 13% humidity, 12.5 according to the needs we have, to take it to the drying plant. In this part, we have case 9240 harvesters. They are equipment that at this moment are calibrated to harvest corn. They are one of the most high-tech equipment we have at the moment in Colombia and in the company in the harvesting part, yes. It is equipped with a full 14,000-liter hopper. It has a 620 horsepower engine. We have a soybean header. We have a 40-foot header. And right now we have a corn header of 12 lines to 50. And we have 18 to 50 and 14 to 50. In terms of harvesting as such, as we have one of the biggest machines with the most technology, and we have many advantages in it. We are trying to reduce losses. We are trying to have the least amount of losses and less mechanical damage. To be able to deliver a better product to the plant. And in terms of safety, in the operational part, it has many sensors in the part. For the operation. It has RPM sensors, elevators, Arandis, exposure, autopilot, and it has an additional Pro 700 screen, where we can see all the standards and yields, fuel consumption per hour, per hectare, yes, how much and harvesting, how many tons per hectare, how many tons per hour, and at the end how much I have in my hopper in a percentage from 0 to 100% on the screen, yes. It is very important, that coordination, because that is what we always work on, the efficiency of the machines. The less the machine moves, the more fuel we save, the more operational we are, the greater the flow of grain movement, and the greater the use of all the work equipment. Within the activities carried out in the organization, Another important pillar is the integration of all its productive processes. But in this program we will highlight agriculture and livestock, two of the areas that have led them to become a self-sustainable farm, always based on the circular economy model. Within the whole process of agriculture, we come to finish the harvest. There is a very important work that is the integration of agriculture with other processes, in this case livestock. We are implementing a technique, which is to leave crops of brachiaria at the time we are having corn. Why? So that once we have harvested the corn, we have implemented pastures for livestock, especially with Brachiaria resisiensis, which is a species that gives us very good conditions of foliage, and for the issue of soil is very because it has a very deep root system that helps us to improve the soil quite a lot. In this process in which we do a sequence of activities, it is very important that there is a synchronization in each of the processes so that none of them is affected. We must have a coordination in logistics, from the moment we adapt, prepare the seed, take it to the lot, plant it, and do each of the productive stages of the process. If we finally reach the harvest, it is a totally synchronized process in which we must be connected in the best way to achieve a very good productivity. Planting, crop protection, fertilization, and finally reach the harvest. Based on all these premises, and in their desire to continue growing as a company, they hope that through their work they can help the development of the municipality and the growth of the Alta Llanura, making it one of the agricultural pantries of the entire Colombian territory. The future of the Alta Llanura is bright. Here, as I was saying, we have an important area to produce. We are going to become the agricultural pantry of Colombia. We are going to have an important area to produce food for the world. This is a project that has already started, that is underway, and that every day is growing more, and our corn and soybean crops will be, or are the showcase for this whole area to develop. It is very important that companies, that an investment is generated in this area so that we can have a very important productive development for the country. Today Ally, the philosophy of Ally. This is a country project, yes. This is a project to show Colombia that we can produce our own grains for food. We cannot continue importing almost 100% of corn, 100% of soybean. We have to be self-sufficient. We have the tools, we have the potential. We have all this area to exploit to make an efficient, environmentally sustainable agriculture that will allow us to develop the country's agriculture. In the future, agriculture will be the line that will drive the development of the country. Yes, this whole area, the invitation to investors, companies, universities, research entities, to be linked to the highlands. We have to continue generating technology. We have to continue generating these spaces where we can generate all the agricultural development of this great potential that we have here in the area.